shortly after we released the Convicts album. Um, man, I think the Convicts album was out maybe about going on a year, if I'm not mistaken. And we get the call and we hear about the interest in us, right? We heard that Dr. Dre was leaving Ruthless and he was getting with Harry O, right? And his team and and Suge, and they was gonna form their own label, Death Row Records. And they liked the idea of the Convicts being on Death Row Records, right? So I mean it was a lot of other inner workings going on at the time, right? But I'm just giving it to you in a general fashion. And yeah, and then the next thing you know, one day, Jay Prince hit us up and he was like, man, y'all get y'all stuff together. Y'all going to LA. We like, when we going to LA? He like, tomorrow morning, right? We young men, you know what I mean? I think I had only been in 2 states, Louisiana and Texas, maybe Mississippi, up to that point, right? And I was like, oh man, finna go out here to Los Angeles, what? Meet Dr. Dre? Man, we must have got our stuff together so quick. I didn't have much stuff at the album that we was working on Death Row. Yeah, because we was working on it and it was coming together. Matter of fact, songs that you heard on the Ghetto Boys to Death Do Us Part and on the Something Serious album was songs that I was writing for the Convicts release that was supposed to come out on Death Row, like Straight Gangsterism. Dr. Dre was going to use that on the Chronic, Mr. Officer, which they wind up recording a version of it, right? And in the Source magazine, Dr. Dre was being interviewed in the Source magazine, and they was talking about the Chronic. And he was like, he got to a point in the album, he said, now this is my favorite song off the album right here. And then you start hearing Mr. Officer, Mr. Officer, you know what I'm saying? And when I was telling people like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? You feel me? Listen, man, the guy was going to get the songs, but Jay Prince had thought at the time, he said, man, if Dr. Dre want these songs going to be hits. So we going to keep them, right? That's why Mr. Officer, which was a solo song of mine at first, wound up had to share it with the Ghetto Boys, and that was a single, Straight Gangsterism, right? We wound up putting Face on the radio version. That was a single, you know what I mean? So, you know, they recognized my work. And that's what I got from it. Even though we didn't release the album with Death Row, I knew my work was good. Dr. Dre was picking songs. You feel me? And got the proof. You dig what I'm saying? Right? So it then get back to Houston. Now the Ghetto Boys want these songs. You dig what I'm saying? And I knew my work was good. You know what I mean? I did. I knew my work was good at that point, you know what I'm saying? And I still had some more growing to go through. You know, I fumbled the ball a couple of times because I wasn't in the right place as an artist. You know what I mean? I wasn't making more money and more things were being available to me. And I just wasn't spending my time in the right places doing the right things. And my art had suffered for it. You know what I mean? Not so much on Still Serious, because Still Serious had a lot of good work on there. That album was really like a compromise between myself, New Tribe Virgin, and Rap A Lot, right? I had a whole lot of songs, and they was picking songs like, this got to be on the album. I'm like, I didn't want that to be on the album. Well, we got to work out something because this going to have to be on the album, right? So we'll let you do, you know, these, this and that, right? But you got to give us these, you know what I mean? So that's why that album didn't have the continuity of the Something Serious album. You feel me? And by the time we got to the Hard to Hit project, I was going through the label disputes with the label really heavy. You dig what I'm saying? So I was dealing with a lot of frustration, a lot of anger at the time. You know what I mean? The situation had them got into some real gangster shit. That's what led me wind up going to the penitentiary for my part in it. You dig what I'm saying? Things that got kind of ugly. So you know, so when I recorded and we released that the Hard to Hit project, you heard a lot of anger. And then I tell you another thing that they did to the album, because when I initially recorded the album that I turned in, yeah, I had a couple of songs where you can hear my anger coming out on the songs, but I had a lot of good work on there as well. But once I turned the record in, right? When I get the mastered version back, the label had then lift at least 80% of the tracks from up underneath the vocals and place other tracks, right? And then put features on that I had no idea. You feel me? And I was like, so I figured that's when I was out the door, right? So I figured they was like, well, I thought it was a sabotage job. I felt like that. I still feel like that because they like, he's not going to resign. You feel me? I don't like that too much. So let's make it seem like he really fell off the cliff. You dig what I'm saying? So he won't be worth anything to any other label, right? You dig what I'm saying? And then you couple that with me going to the penitentiary, right? Right after that, right? So, I mean, I only went for 4 years, right? But 4 years in the music industry, a lot of time. You dig what I'm saying? Right? And like I said, I come back and it, you know, and it just took me some time. God had to work with me. You know what I mean? I had to put myself to the side and see what his will was. And when I focused on his will, you know, he blessed me with my heart's desire. And so we have finished the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a serious situation. You know what I mean? It was a serious situation. It was a contractual dispute. Well, my contract was about to be up. I had like hard to hit to deliver. I was finna be done. And I had some monies that they owed me, but they wouldn't release my monies, right? And there was no reason for them to hold my monies. The reason they were holding my money is because they wanted me to sign a new contract. When you sign this new contract, we'll release these monies that we owe you. I'm like, nah, you're gonna release my money that you owe me, and then maybe we can sit down and talk about, you know what I mean, doing another deal or something like that. Feel me? All these rumors, it's like a man took a box of papers, went to the tallest building in the city on a windy day, threw them out. And all these rumors and things is out there. Me, being one person, I cannot track down all those pieces of paper. Right. But if I give it to God, he can cause up a wind and gather all of them and set them on fire. So I focused on him, right? And I'm still here doing my thing. A father, a grandfather, you dig what I'm saying? Loving life, doing my thing, making amazing music for the people. It's beyond me. I want the people to get this blessing too. You dig what I'm saying? So that's why I got hella creative on the record, right? That's why I spent all the time. And shout out to my producers, man, because I know I wore them guys out. But that's why we gonna all enjoy the harvest together. You know what I mean? Because I be for real about my music.